YouTube's gonna y'all boys, man, back at y'all with another reaction, man. We got the victims of Anthony Edwards. Pause that, because that sounds like, yo, look into it.
He's here to humiliate whoever it is in front of him.
Hey, he be punching that shit. He be punching on niggas.
Future Hall of Famers, some of the greatest players to ever play the game.
Definitely a future Hall of Famer, bro.
If you line up on the other side of him, you're probably going to end up added to the list because he doesn't fear anyone. The reputation, the accolades, the name on the back of the jersey, he doesn't care. He's just here to add another victim.
How would you describe your mentality and how it's evolving, Anthony?
I just want to kill everything in front of me, man. That's the main thing.
Anthony Edwards.
That's that mindset, boy.
Basketball immortality, and these are the basketball giants that he's brought down along the way. Following their second best regular season in franchise history,
bang on that nigga.
To the 2024 NBA playoffs as the third seed. Their first round opponent loaded with star power. The Phoenix Suns, Kevin Durant, Devin Booker, Bradley Beal.
Took all them down, boy.
Considered the favorites in the series despite coming in as a 6th seed. The NBA world expected this to be all Phoenix as they were dominant against Minnesota in the regular season. But they were about to find out about a new demon, a demon that they weren't prepared for, and that demon was playoff Anthony Edwards. From the very beginning, Ant made it clear there would be no...
Boy, they had Grayson Allen on him.
He was doing it from every level with shots from long range.
Anybody guarding him.
Moves to score on his mid-range jumper and, of course, attacking the basket with no fear. And his own idol, Kevin Durant, not even he was safe.
This time, KD picks him up.
Come here, KD. Come here, boy. It's a foul, too. Oh, my God. Come here. Skate him.
Edwards around the double team. Gotta look. Butter. Ant-Man in full effect.
Nah, I do it when he teabagged them niggas. They gotta show the clip where he teabagged, bruh.
Oh, Edwards, it's showtime. Room service.
Anthony Edwards was on a mission, and the Phoenix Suns just so happened to be in his way. 33 points, and he was talking his talk.
33? Game one?
Forth with Kevin Durant there in the third quarter. How fun is that, and what do you make of the atmosphere tonight?
I think everybody here knows that's my favorite player of all time, so that was probably one of the best feelings ever in my
Bro got to eliminate his favorite player.
Edwards continued to have his moments. A rejection on Bradley Beal, another big bucket with KD fighting for his life defensively. The Wolves had taken both games at home, a 2-0 lead that nobody saw coming. Anthony Edwards was showing the basketball world that he meant business, but the job wasn't even close to done yet. Heading into Phoenix, the Wolves had a chance to completely demoralize the Suns, which is all Anthony Edwards had on his mind because once again, he was going all out. In that fourth
They went down 3-0.
18 of his 36 points on the night. Nobody on this team could guard him. The Timberwolves with a 3-0 series.
Damn, they went down. Yeah, they did go down 3-0.
It's over.
Stars bring their best when the best is required. You had 18 of your 36 in the fourth. It appears that there's another gear you're finding.
Breaking down them Phoenix boys.
In terms of patience, knowing when it's time to put your foot on the gas. How would you describe your mentality and how it's evolving, Anthony?
I just want to kill everything in front of me, man. That's the main thing. Pretty much. That's all it is to it.
Pretty much. That's all to it. That's it, man.
With a chance to close out the series in 4 and stepped in with the same mindset. Kill everything. But early on, he had a slow start. Phoenix looking to take advantage and claw their way to a Game 5. What they didn't realize was this was just the calm before the storm. Because in that third quarter, Ant took no prisoners, connecting on 4 3-pointers as he decimated this Suns.
Get them brooms.
For survival. The Minnesota Timberwolves back in control heading into the final 12 minutes. And in those final 12, Ant was unstoppable. He was ending this series in a way that made sure everybody remembered who did it.
Boy was showing out. I forgot he did that. I forgot he banged on that
The
nigga.
NBA world slept on Minnesota. But
I
Anthony
forgot
Edwards
he
was
banged
one
on
of
him.
3 opposing star
Swept
players
his
all
ass.
taken down in a sweep.
So impressed with Ant. So impressed with Ant. My favorite player to watch. Gonna be somebody I'm following for the rest of his career.
It was the first playoff series win for Minnesota in 20 years. A
Damn.
huge moment for the franchise brought to them by Anthony Edwards. But their next
20
opponent
years
was
of
no joke.
L's?
This was the defending champions, led by Nikola Jokic, who was given the league
Oh,
MVP,
they did beat
and
the
one of
Nuggets
greatest
too,
playoff
boy.
prizes in Jamal Murray. People didn't expect much from Minnesota in the last series, and they certainly didn't expect much from them in this one. But that's when Ant-Man is at his most dangerous. Because from the moment this game tipped off, he was the best player on the floor. He had complete control over this game, and he was doing it on both sides. Every player on his court wanted to win, but nobody wanted it more than Anthony Edwards. In the fourth quarter, when things got serious, Denver tried to use their best defender on Ant, but even he couldn't do anything. He walked into Denver's house and took this thing over. 43 points, a true
43?
Anthony Edwards,
Insane.
now the second player
Give
in
him over there.
history with back-to-back 40-point games in the playoffs at age 22. The other player, Kobe Bryant. In Game 2, the Minnesota Timberwolves were even more dominant. The defending champions were completely overwhelmed, trailing by double digits for nearly the entire game. It was hitting ridiculous contested shots over two defenders like it was
Sheesh.
nothing. The Michael Jordan shrug in the midst of a playoff run that had Michael Jordan comparisons. Another
Nigga
game
was
set
literally
himself
Michael
apart
Jordan
as the
last
best
year.
player on the court. This run that he was on was unbelievable.
Thoughts, Martin?
Damn,
Shoulda
video
bought
glitching and
Dixie.
shit.
These weak store brand play.
But just like that, the defending champions flipped the switch. 3 straight wins in this series, one of those even overcoming a 44-point performance by Anthony Edwards. Now the Minnesota Timberwolves were on the brink of elimination.
Oh, they won
As
Game
confident as
7.
ever, their leader remained unfazed.
Yeah, I told him. I said, I see y'all motherfuckers for Game 7.
No count. Confidence,
Game
boy.
6, winner go home. A loss here ends the season for the Timberwolves. But for Anthony Edwards, losing this game was never an option. He was special on both ends of the floor, and the same could be said for the rest of the Timberwolves. They completely decimated the Denver Nuggets.
Oh my god, that Hezzy was nasty. That Hezzy was so
A
nasty.
45-point blowout win, and we were headed to that Game 7 that Anthony Edwards promised. But this game was a disaster
Game
for
7.
Minnesota, trailing by as many as 20 points early into the second half. No team had ever come back to win a Game 7 facing a deficit this large, but none of those teams had Anthony Edwards. Minnesota began to chip away at this lead. They were back in the game through relentless defensive effort, forcing turnovers that led to Anthony Edwards throwing it down at the other end. And right before the end of the third quarter, a
Hit him with a
nasty
3-ball.
basket on Aaron
I remember this one. I remember that one. That was a beautiful move.
A huge shot cutting the lead down to a single point heading into the fourth. Minnesota had all the momentum now. This was their game. The Wolves took the lead in the fourth quarter and continued to build it. Anthony Edwards from the corner to make it 10. He was talking trash to everyone. Players.
Boy, pointing at the
fans,
crowd.
nobody was off limits.
That's why I love him,
Jokic
bro.
was crying through
And he
pain.
talking to
They
Jokic,
should've won
boy.
the 20-point lead.
Nobody scared of your
That's
big
what
ass,
Bird,
boy.
Anthony Edwards put on a two-way masterclass. in
Nigga,
the
Jokic
series.
thought somebody was scared of his big
9 for
ass.
30 shooting from the field. He was on absolute.
He had Jamal Murray going 9 for 30. Had that nigga in
Second
handcuffs
time
for
in franchise
real.
history, the Minnesota Timberwolves were in the Western Conference Finals. Anthony Edwards was on a ridiculous run, crushing every single star player in his path and doing it in such a humiliating fashion. And up next, even more star power, the Dallas Mavericks, led by Kyrie Irving and Luka Doncic. But over these last 11 games, the Timberwolves had shown the world that they shouldn't be doubted. They were now recognized as a legitimate championship contender, with Ant leading the way. And just when it seemed like they were well on their way to doing something special in these playoffs, the
I don't know
Dallas
how they
Mavericks
lost to the
destroyed all
Mavs
their hopes. Luka Doncic
compared to Denver.
completely embarrassed
But it's
Minnesota
'cause of
and was
Luka.
letting them hear about it. It wasn't supposed to end this way for Ant, but he was gonna remember this. Heading into the next season, some unexpected changes were made in Minnesota. They sent out Karl Anthony Towns in a trade to New York that brought in Julius Randle
That was
and Dante
stupid.
DiVincenzo, a move that was highly questioned and one that would continue to be questioned throughout the season. Because after putting together such a great
That was
2024
stupid.
campaign, this team had dropped
I don't know
off
why they
in
broke that
7 less
team.
games than the previous year. They just snuck into the playoffs on the last day of the regular season, and their reward, the Los Angeles Lakers in the first round, who were now led not just by LeBron James, but Luka Doncic, the same man that ended Minnesota's season a year ago. Anthony Edwards. won
Damn, he
the
gotta
win,
get
but nobody
back.
thought that they could do it. All 10 of ESPN's experts.
Yeah, I
picked
didn't
the
think they was
Los
gonna do
Angeles
that,
Lakers
bro.
to win this series, the Minnesota Timberwolves.
But guess what?
heavy
They ended up
underdogs
doing
going
it.
into this one. But that's exactly how Anthony Edwards likes it. In Game 1 in Los Angeles, Minnesota dominated. Anthony
It's 'cause the
Edwards
Lakers
was
got no
Luka Doncic
defense, bro. They
every
had
time he
nobody
got
to
a
guard
chance.
this nigga.
This game was personal, and Anthony Edwards made it clear. A big win in Game 1, but this was just one of 4 that they needed to slay another giant. The Lakers came away with the win in Game 2 to even the series.
And
back
then
up.
LeBron over there
Even so
wasn't
for
going.
Game
He wasn't
3, They were
hooping.
in position to take back control over this series, but Ant wasn't having that.
My God, snatch him.
Conley fakes the pass, now kicks it out. Edwards wide open, chance to set.
There's no defense for the Lakers, bro. Literally.
Edwards gets in the paint.
Nah, that's defense. That's just a good leg.
Stolen by Edwards. Drives inside of the slam.
I didn't see that.
Finish for Anthony Edwards.
Damn, I be missing a
Anthony
lot.
Edwards was on a mission, proving to be one
ain't
of the
even
most
see that, nigga. He
effective
banged out
players
on
in the
Luka?
league. But the Lakers kept fighting. They made this a tie game late.
Hold on.
Ant was coming for the kill.
Steps back, three-pointer, puts it in.
That bit lagging though. I mean that bit. Why that bit lagging though? What the fuck? Yo, what's going on? He was killing them boys. Damn. They should have had Hachimura on him or something.
The Timberwolves
That probably wouldn't have worked either.
And Anthony Edwards delivered like always. Put any defender in front of him and they are getting cooked. Because when it's playoff time, this man is a true demon. In game 4, that demon was on full display. He was relentless. He was unstoppable. A true killer on the basketball court. The Lakers tried everything that they could defensively. But Anthony Edwards had already determined this was his night. And when that happens, you can say goodbye.
Hopefully he can take down OKC, bro. Oh my god, why are you jumping? He was frying. Oh my god. AR, come here. Disgusting.
A clutch 40.
He's only gonna get better too.
16 in the fourth to take a commanding 3-1 series lead. And after the game, the only things he had to say was praise for his teammates.
Just tell me what you're feeling right now.
Nas Reed, J.D. McDaniels, Dante DiVincenzo. Man, them boys came up big in the clutch.
Boy had 43 mentioning his
Luka
teammates.
Doncic ended Minnesota season on their home court in just 5 games. This season, Anthony Edwards looking to return the favor. It was a quiet game from Ant. He struggled from the field, but the Wolves brought in the win off their resilience and strong defense.
They didn't even need Ant to get 20 for him to win. Crazy works.
2 more stars taken down by basketball's Grim Reaper. Nobody thought Minnesota could do it. They must have forgotten who Anthony Edwards is.
My fault. I did. I did. I did. I did. Bruh. It's because the way they was hooping this year, bro. I thought the Lakers wasn't going to choke that shit.
Player in this league that puts fear into this man, and he's only looking to continue taking down this league 1-star player at a time.
What are you looking forward to most this upcoming season? Definitely going back to the playoffs and going further in the playoffs to go versus the Warriors. I want to play the Warriors. I want to get to the Warriors.
Well, them niggas is gone. Nah, it would be nice seeing him beat the Warriors.
Draymond talk so much trash.
Yeah, that'd be a good one. That's okay, but that's y'all boys, man. Let me know what y'all think about the video, man. Make sure y'all boys like, comment, subscribe, boys. We are on.